December 22nd, 2008. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, episode 61.
061!
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
Well, welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio.
So sorry
I
you
am
left.
Murdock, and with me is Steve and Brian, and John is unavailable today. He was actually called back to Iraq. Damn it, stop loss.
Oh, wait, no, that wasn't Iraq. That was Arrakis.
Oh,
He was
yes.
called back to Arrakis.
Well, they're both Sandy.
Yeah.
They both have Kyle McLaughlin.
Hey, he who controls the spice.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
He who
There's
controls
no allegory there at all.
he who controls Fallujah controls. Oh wait,
Wait,
it doesn't work that way.
Wait.
So we're actually doing the podcast by the fire.
We are.
Nice fireside chat.
It's our Christmas.
Can
it's
we
our Christmas. It's our Xmas
Xmas?
special.
Yes.
We're all gonna go.
That's as far as we're going because we all
Hey-
fucking hate Christmas music at
Hey,
this point.
Linus, what's the meaning of Christmas?
Well, you search for the great pumpkin, and then you pray, and then you...
No, it's him, you fat fuck.
So we have the nice roaring fire. That is a real fire, right? That's
Yeah,
not
it is a
that,
real fire. It's
far
a
as-
real gas
as
fire.
real as
but
gas
it's,
can get, yeah.
it's still flame. you
Lighting
know.
the logs.
It's not like a hologram thing. So
What are
So-
these, like, porcelain logs?
I'm sure
Ceramic?
there are.
They're virtual logs.
Hey, did we a little bit of a follow up from last week? Did we totally offend Keegan with our furry thing?
I don't know.
No, he hasn't talked to you in 2 weeks. So
No one's talked to me
maybe.
in 2 weeks.
I
We should
talked to you
probably
like a
partially
couple days
offended
ago,
him.
dude.
And we should probably.
Am I nobody now? Is that what the deal is?
Maybe we only partially offended him. We should try really hard to finish the job off. On this
We
one.
don't have Krukov here though.
Oh, damn.
he's the master offender.
I
Yeah.
see.
He does
So-
have a thing against hairballs.
He has a thing against everything.
He does. It's a gift.
He even hates his own kind.
Yes.
I mean, really.
white people.
He's equal opportunity.
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't get a lot of hate mail on it, but maybe I should post the link of the
Yeah.
podcast on 4chan and see what happens.
Post it. Well, that would be a disaster. I'll stash away some money so that I can pay for the bandwidth after that happens.
Oh, it'll pay for itself, and
In nothing.
yeah,
It'll pay for itself in the lulls.
epic.
Yeah, we were discussing this before the podcast. If if you ever got into a situation where Chris Hansen is showing up when you showed somebody's house and asks you what your intent was with chatting with underage kids on the internet,
Yeah.
your perfect answer would be, "I did it for the lulls."
Nerds
would
of the
be-
world would laugh in
You would
laugh
be
in
the
unison.
you would be the you'd be the hero of 4chan for a month at least
Yeah.
Oh,
Which would be really nice while you're sitting in jail.
while you're sitting in jail.
Yeah.
how's your lulls now? I don't know what that means, but
How do you like your lulls now?
so this is a very special Xmas podcast.
Very, very special Xmas podcast.
It's not that special.
Can you bring it down a little bit more NPR there, Brian?
It's a very special NPR. Oh, I'm sorry, Xmas podcast.
I don't even know what that is. I don't think it's NPR though.
Oh, okay. So I guess we'll start with our first news bit.
Mhm.
The Sony Home launched December 11th, then had voice chat, then didn't, then had it again, and
So they went from Sony Home to Sony Away.
And did you see that YouTube clip? There's apparently if you create a female avatar, you're going to be molested in certain ways by the rest of the male population.
Yeah, I heard
So
about
what you
that.
do is you create a second avatar, which is like an ugly, ugly man, and there's a way to be able to switch them on the spot. So while the woman is there dancing around and being molested by the guys, they do the quick swap, and then suddenly it's this ugly guy, and you see all these, and you see all these people going, yeah, I think I'm gonna go to a different lobby.
Lobbies are one of
Goggles.
the stupidest things in the world.
Ah,
They're only good for
Seriously, if
Fantasy
you want to hang
Star
out in a
and,
lobby, you could just go to Second Life.
yeah.
It doesn't cost you any money.
Well, it does if you want like real estate.
Well, yeah, but why would you want something that doesn't really exist?
Well, that's true. Didn't the Linden dollar like totally like tank? Didn't it like
It
lose
did.
all
The
its
bottom
value?
fell out of it. I don't remember why.
that's just the Lin.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
Alright.
you're telling me epic fail.
yes,
All right.
just like Second Life.
Yeah.
Do any of you on Second Life, by the way?
I log in about once a year to see if it's any better, and it never is.
Ah,
I keep waiting for it to be shit. What was that? The metaverse, because it's pretty close to being the metaverse if it didn't have a shitty interface.
and what is the metaverse?
That's the virtual reality systems in Snow Crash,
oh,
which also had giant mentions of giant virtual penis avatars in it.
well,
It is written.
It was very prophetic.
It was written.
You read the descriptions of the metaverse, and it's Second Life. I mean, down to furries and penises.
well, thanks Internet for that.
Well,
Very prophetic and very phallic at the same time.
yes.
So next up, Dragon Quest X coming to Wii.
Oh, whoop-wee.
Well,
Dragon Quest. What is Dragon Quest?
it's an RPG by Square Enix that sells like 4 million copies a day, and the Japanese government has said that Square Enix is not allowed to sell this game on any time other than a weekend, because when they were selling it on weekdays, schools and businesses were like closing. Lots of places
That's
were losing
awesome.
money just because of this one game. It's like you can't release this game on anything other than a weekend now. So
They have that kind of power.
Alrighty then.
Square Enix is taking over Tokyo.
well, they're
We're gonna sell our
They're
game
taking
all
over.
week.
They're taking over Tokyo by creating games with androgynous characters.
I think they've taken over about 35% of the American female population under the age of 30.
Yeah. Well, Rad Racer was a good game.
Ridge Racer.
It's Rad Racer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anytime it's even close to that, I have to say it.
So all you Square Enix fanboys and fangirls, come back to me when you play 3D World Runner on the NES, okay?
If you can.
Well, that thing came with 3D glasses too, and you couldn't see shit out of them. I mean, really.
That's
All right.
that was like part of the difficulty curve in the game.
Oh yeah. Let's make the game hard. I think Rad Racer had a 3D mode too.
Yeah, it did. I remember playing that in the old Nintendo. It was actually kind of cool, but it was kind of screwed with your eyes after a while.
Yeah. So
It's the 3D glasses, they screw with your eyes purposely.
Yeah.
So next up, the Star Wars Old Republic MMO might be microtransaction-based, whatever the hell that means.
It
That's
means I'm not
Xbox
gonna play
Live
it.
on a bigger scale.
It means I'm never going to play it, is what it means.
So rather
Unless
than
things are a fraction of a cent when you buy them, there's no way in hell I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Well,
There's too many ways to make you
it'll
basically...
be a special
Well, that's gonna
Star
cost
Wars.
you $5.
It'll be a
they'll probably just charge you for items and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You buy items and
It'll be
Horse
like
armor?
yeah,
what's that Korean RPG that does that?
Lineage
Yeah.
or Ragnarok Online.
Or
One of those. I mean, I don't know which ones are micro.
But it's like it's free to play. But if you want to get like all the cool items, you have to pay real
Well,
cash.
there's a bunch of those, but those
That started
there's
with Baldur's Gate, didn't it?
well, there's a bunch of those that are they're pay if you want the good stuff, but they're not technically microtransactions. It's like the Pirates of the Caribbean Online. You can play that for free, but to get to the good stuff, you have to pay a monthly fee.
Yeah.
But but that's not technically microtransactions. Microtransactions would be okay, now I'm all set here, and I can get all these, I can get these blue items, which are better than the normal stuff. The drop rates is uncommon, but not too uncommon. I could wait for the rare one to drop on its own, but if I pay 15 cents or whatever, I can just buy it from a vendor and not have to do the grinding to get one for free. And so, I mean, if that's not the just an express way to twinking a character from 0 to whatever, I don't know what is.
We'll see how well it's implemented.
Plus, Star Wars RPGs, MMOs don't really have a great history of working real well. So, how many times have we redesigned Star Wars Galaxies now?
So
3.
the microtransactions might actually be for the patches for the game.
Well, that's how they're going to pay for the patches for the game, maybe. Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, they've redesigned it more than they've redesigned Matrix Online, and that's a lot of times.
So, anyway, next up, Spore, the most pirated game of 2008. None of us care because I don't think we played Spore, right?
Yeah, but I think there's a lesson in this.
Which is?
Don't DRM your games because people are going to pirate them more than if they were not DRM'd.
Well, I think that was just more of a challenge. It's like, oh, you've DRM'd our game, huh?
I
accept your duel.
I think somebody's throwing the gauntlet down.
I mean, seriously, it's not a one-to-one comparison, obviously, but you go with, who was it, Stardock, who had no DRM on Sins of a Solar Empire, who sold a lot of copies and isn't nearly as pirated as the Spore is. Meanwhile, Spore had way better marketing and had DRM on it, and it's still the most pirated game of 2008. Further evidence that DRM is the dumbest thing to put on a game ever.
Yep.
So they should go back to dongles?
No, I mean, I always liked if you have the instruction booklet, you can just find a word thing in it, or just make a good game and people will actually want to buy it.
Oh, that makes too much sense, Steve.
I know. I'm always
You'll
thinking.
You'll never work in the game industry.
I'm a lonely man.
So
too much thinking.
Yep. So
I'm sure that's it.
So you know that NXT launch that happened on Xbox.
The what?
On the NXT launch, the new Xbox experience.
Oh, right.
That whole thing, apparently made Microsoft a lot of money and
did.
Yeah, apparently it. According to the marketplace downloads, it went up 30%.
Jeez.
For movie downloads and 49%.
Well, it probably had something to do with the fact that people actually knew at that point that you could get TVs and movie downloads.
And Netflix.
Well,
I mean, they were in a lot of times. I mean, the old navigation system for Xbox Live was serviceable, but kind of confusing as to where stuff was.
Yeah. So TV episodes were up 30%, and movie downloads were up 49%.
I think it has a lot to do with Netflix too. Being able to get Netflix on it is really a big deal.
Haven't any of you tried that, or?
I know Em and Roger did, and I know Pasty Mike did. And the quality varies a lot depending on your network connection. So
if you're on Comcast, kind of hit or miss.
Well, I mean, it depends a lot on your the networking equipment you're using. If you're using, like a Linksys one, Linksys ones don't handle streaming too well. At least the lower priced ones don't. And Pasty has a problem because I don't know what speed of DSL he has, but I think his might be a little bit too slow for the general quality downloads. But he says it depends on what program he downloads.
Huh.
He says some of them work great and some of them don't, and it's not consistent which ones work great or not.
That's really odd.
So I don't know. I don't really know how they managed to do that sort of thing, and what the rights thing is behind that, but whatever.
Do you still have a Netflix account, Steve?
I do.
Are you going to try it?
I haven't tried it yet, but all my cables are still sitting at the store, so.
It works well. I've been watching CSIs from last season I haven't caught up on. It's cool the way you can just stream it straight from your...
No, does it just stream it, but doesn't save it on the hard drive or anything, right?
Yeah, just streams it all.
Yeah.
It saves bookmarks of what you're watching, what you want to watch, and then it just pulls it in as needed.
Okay.
It takes an initial download. Whenever you click on something, like I went to watch an episode last night, I click on it, I choose the episode of the series I want to watch, and then it takes like 6 or 8 seconds, and you see a little bar going across, it loads
buffering.
it up, and then it's ready to stream on a continuous... And it doesn't have to save anything. It's really cool.
And that's kind of the thing, too, is that the buffering, if your network connection isn't consistent, it's just like watching on YouTube, because it's still, the buffering needs to change.
Yeah.
So if
it definitely sets up enough to buffer it and keep it going consistently.
Okay.
but it relies on your speed being the same for the whole thing, and then it has to readjust.
Exactly. I don't know what
It seems
other connections
to,
are, but cable works great, of course.
It seems to change the quality depending on what it decides your network connection is.
Huh.
That's what Pasty was saying.
Huh.
He'll get
what
different.
was his issue?
Well, he'll get different. He'll get different quality image depending on if his network connection is working or not.
Weird.
So it reduces the video quality?
It must.
Maybe that's a save on the streaming.
Well, I mean, if it's a lesser quality and you've got a slower connection, it's going to stream better.
Yeah.
So.
Huh.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Strange.
it's like YouTube.
Well, that's kind of cool because that makes up for the people that are having issues with problems or they've got just a shitty connection. So.
Yep.
So
Still doesn't work that well. Low bandwidth though. You're still getting shit. It's just faster shit.
Yeah.
Look at my 64 by 64 bit image. Ooh.
So next up, we have a World of Warcraft restaurant opening up in Beijing. I'm not sure what type of food you would order there.
So, wasn't China one of the ones that was saying that online game playing is a public health hazard?
Well, so is restaurants in Beijing.
Well, no, but I mean,
they
like,
gotta look good in front of the public. There's a certain amount of PR they have to push, and this.
No,
is
it's
horrible,
probably
we must
here's a
stop
pile.
this.
Well, I don't think this is official Blizzard. I'm sure it's probably some guy that's taking advantage of the popularity, and they'll get a cease and desist from.
Well, but why would
Blizzard.
the Chinese government even let them open if it's encouraging online game playing, which is a health hazard for the country?
Well, it may not be encouraging it. It may just be encouraging.
What?
Food.
Eating World of Warcraft food?
Well, I don't know what they eat in World of Warcraft. You tell me.
Stuff.
Stuff.
But that's not really the point. I mean, he could have named it anything.
So he could have named it
Something in Chinese.
something in Chinese.
Pretty much.
Here's the Lineage 2 diner.
That's not Chinese.
Well, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh. All
What do you got?
Play MMOs and don't get a job. Apparently this was kind of a somewhat big deal. So what it was that there was some MMO person who met a recruiter who basically said, if you say that you like MMOs, we're probably not going to hire you. Because he said that the belief that World of Warcraft players cannot give 100% because their focus is elsewhere. Their sleeping patterns aren't often not great, etc. So, there you go.
I don't understand why you would ever tell an MMO guy that you're, or a recruiter that you played MMOs. When does that come up?
Yeah, what part of the I mean, Brian, you got a new job. I mean, the recruiter didn't ask you, like, so, you play any MMOs?
You into Anarchy Online there?
It says on your resume here that you were you're experienced in Meridian 59 for 3 years.
Looks like he said here, you killed Lord British. We don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Well, that only works if you're trying to get a job at NCSoft.
Yeah.
No, luckily some of my coworkers are gamers, but that's about the extent of it.
So the four other guys that work at your company?
Yeah, 2 of them at least. I even take my PSP to work and just watch movies on it at lunch.
Wow.
I think he replied that employers specifically instruct him not to censor World of Warcraft players really is code for they instruct me not to send them people with no social skills.
If you're working IT, why is that a problem?
Well,
you don't need social skills to work IT.
To be good in IT, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
I disagree.
Well, that's because you suck.
Weren't
Weren't you the one who was telling me before this that you have a bunch of really sucky ass customer service guys?
Yeah.
And do they talk to you?
Well, they actually don't. They don't talk. They hide in their little room like they're the Justice League.
I'm proving my point as we speak.
They're like, it's our room. Don't look.
We only speak in ticket lingo.
Don't talk in our room. You'll see our remedy showing.
Oh, we have access to Remedy in our page. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it sucks yours too.
Well, Remedy was never a good program.
Nope. better than
welcome to the ticket tracking podcast.
Yeah. What's better
All
than
tickets
Service
all
Center?
the time.
You ever use
Here's
Service Center?
Huh?
You ever use Peregrine Service Center?
We used to.
Yeah, it sucks more than Remedy.
Oh my God. So our next show will be all about Siebel and Siebel systems. So watch out for that.
Yep.
What are you using, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Remedy. Yeah, well, actually, we use both. Our Egan guys use Service Center, which then goes into a convoluted middleware system and spits out a Remedy ticket for us.
Why?
I don't ask. I don't.
Why
know
don't you just use Remedy for the whole thing?
We were at some point.
How'd that work out?
No, apparently not well.
Apparently, it wasn't the remedy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So sad.
There's a new disease.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. You are fortunate not to have experience with this program.
It's in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle.
Stop that.
You're in the jungle, baby. You do cocaine.
I like cocaine. I hope no one does a cosplay of that NDK.
I think it'd be hilarious, except for the part where they can see my junk through my jumpsuit. That would be not so good.
That would be scary.
Anybody want to see my video? All right.
No.
Anyway.
All right. I got this news from Steve because the Phantom gets someone to give them money to make lapboards.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Apparently, somebody gave them money to make lapboards.
Yeah. They burned through $73 million in capital and still have nothing to show for it except for possibly this lapboard.
Well, and I like the fact that my current theory on this is that the other investment options in the market are so bad right now that this is considered a better investment risk than other things. It has to be. Why would anybody else give them this much money? I mean, they gave them what did they give them? Like $15 million or something?
Yeah, and they've already burned through $500 million.
It's just
how do I get into that business?
Apparently, I don't know.
I mean, it can't be that
Don't
hard.
ask me, man.
I
I'm
could
not
just
in it.
promise a bunch of products and never deliver on it.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, man. Obviously, I'm not the one who knows.
Maybe we should ask Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
He was the bomb in Phantoms.
Yo.
Phantoms like a mall fucker.
I'm just shaking my head.
Yep.
So our last news bit is
See the sailboat.
It's a scooter.
I've seen that movie. Okay, I've
It's a
seen Mallrats.
scooter.
I've seen Mallrats like twice,
Oh, I've seen
and I
that.
didn't like it either time. Except for Shannon Doherty does wear thigh highs in it, which
I've
does
seen
make it
that
a little
movie
bit better.
dozens of times.
But
Indeed.
didn't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
Thought Dogma was a slightly better movie.
Not really, no.
And, well,
Had that poop monster in it, dude. Giant rubber poop monster.
oh, okay.
Did have Chris Rock, but giant plastic rubber poop monster kind of cancels out Chris Rock. But it was Chris Rock when he was still funny.
Is there anything else you want to share?
You asked.
All right. Okay.
Want to talk about Star Trek?
No.
All right.
Don't want to bring down the fire.
Well, no, because
A
then
little
Steve is
thunder,
going
a
to
little
talk
lightning.
about, some
I haven't
Star,
heard anything about that new game anyway.
some Star Trek thing. He's going to complain about the movie that hasn't come out yet. So, last bit of news: Wii-itis is on the rise. Apparently,
Especially in the UK.
yeah, that's where this is. Apparently, Wii-itis sufferers. Well, let me start again. This is 10 people a week in Britain are hospitalized for playing Wii games. Wii-itis sufferers usually have excruciating pain in the right shoulder or knee, a rheumatology consultant said. Most are admitted after playing the tennis and running games, which involve sudden movements and violent tendon stretching. And you know what a good idea is? Maybe they shouldn't be playing the Wii like a retarded monkey.
Yeah. That's part of it.
I like the
Use your words, Servo.
I prefer the conspiracy theory that these people are all being admitted for masturbation and they're just
Blaming it on
they're
something.
blaming it on the weed.
Oh, yeah.
Chronic masturbation.
What the motion for masturbation, not that I would know anything about that.
No, because he's a Yeah, not one of those people that touches himself like everybody else. Shh, he's a freeper.
It's a
A
freeper.
freeper.
Yes, he's a freeper. No, I mean it's. I mean seriously. I mean, how out of shape do you have to be to injure yourself playing Wii games?
I played Wii Sports when Brian had it, and it's like, okay, I don't see.
It's not a lot of.
It can be addictive to the right people. Like my mom actually got tennis elbow because she was bowling too much.
Got to stretch out a little bit there.
I was like, I think you're
How do you
throwing
get
the
tennis
bowl
elbow
too
from
hard.
bowling?
The ball too hard.
Wouldn't
ball
that be
too
like-
hard. And
Yeah, you don't need to actually put any force behind it there.
I had to show her how to do it and get an even bowl, and then she did it. But then she started playing more and more, and she played for like 2 hours a night. I mean, she was getting so addicted to it
Yeah,
that she
it's
had to
called
get a
repetitive
brace for
stress
her arm.
disorder.
How do you
Yeah.
get tennis elbow from bowling?
Well,
Wouldn't that be like bowler's lumbago or
well,
something
yeah,
like that?
Yeah. It can't be tennis elbow, but you're not playing tennis.
One of the perks of my job is we get demos that come in. People come in and demo something for us, generally on a Friday, and we see this on our little calendars. And one of the things that's being demoed not once but twice next month is the Wii Fit, which is
Okay.
ironic because we're a health club.
Yeah, make sure and so people try to stay home and not go to your health club.
But do they actually put Wii Fit in like some of the clubs?
I don't know.
That'd be kind of interesting.
I actually haven't had a chance to go to any of the clubs yet. This is just at the corporate office
Huh.
where we work, but I just thought it was funny. We get some of the neatest demos and things in there. Ironic that a health club would get a Wii Fit demo.
Do they
though,
always send like people that are super buff to demonstrate stuff?
Not so far.
I think they would. I mean, is it mostly exercise stuff?
No, not necessarily. We had
No.
somebody come from a company called DelectableDinners.com where they make food
Right.
for you, and you just choose a menu,
It's
and
kind of weird.
they'll make it, freeze it, bring it to you the next day. It's pretty cool.
Kind of strange. So it really doesn't have anything to do with the actual business of the company.
Not totally. To some degree, yes. I mean, they're bringing things in that might help the majority. And in our case, where we're stuck in a corporate office all day, yeah, being able to order food in that where you can take home and cook, that's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, for like the actual like the business of the company.
Oh,
It's not related to like.
that's not
stuff that
something.
you're
Well, they
doing.
may get those kind of demos in, but that's not open to the rest of the company. It's
I
just
see, I
probably
see, I
within
see,
that
I see.
department or those people that are running it.
I was gonna think, if they were all like, fitness demonstrations or something, they'd always bring in Brock McHard cheese to demo it or whatever.
Rocksmith.
Yeah.
Another little bit of news, which is not really news, it's just more of a sad state of affairs. I went to insertcredit.com,
Same
and
here.
they had a guy who went ahead and went into a arcade that's still open
yeah,
and took a picture, and all it was a guy that was not
topless
wearing a shirt.
and
A guy
shaking
topless.
wildly on the Space Invader machine.
Yeah, that was it. There's like one dude, and he's topless.
They're like, yeah, this is kind of sad.
Yeah, the sad state of arcades.
Consoles killed the.
It's actually the arcade in Aurora Mall wasn't that bad. I happened to walk past it today.
Well,
or a couple days ago.
It's not a bad place, but arcades kind of not
Well, it's
relevant
mostly
anymore.
it's still mostly ticket stuff, but it's
You
Yeah.
ticket redemption.
if you can avoid getting shot, it's okay.
Consoles have pretty much killed the arcade.
Well, you can get shot with that too.
But you can.
Consoles aren't safe either. It's just a lot harder to get shot.
Yep.
Especially those cheese ball guns that make for the Wii.
Especially if your mom says you can't play Halo 3.
Yep.
That happened, by the way.
Yeah. Well.
No achievement unlocked for him.
Nope.
By the way, Diehard Gamer Radio doesn't apologize for any political incorrectness.
The
Diehard Gamer Radio doesn't really give a shit.
There was a thing on. Did you see the thing on the Jon Stewart thing where it's like, it's if you're the governor of Chicago, you have a 4 out of 8 chance of going to federal prison.
Yeah.
Which is a higher percentage than going to prison if you commit murder. And so he's like, so you have 2 choices, kids. You either become the governor of Illinois, or you kill someone. Choice is up to you.
Which pays better? Oh, wait.
Suppose it depends on who you kill.
But the silly thing is, if they had the right governor out there, the odds would probably change significantly. And those committing the murders would probably go to jail.
Well, no,
There's a
it's
little
not
point
just
there.
in Illinois. I mean, nationwide.
Oh, I thought
percentage.
that was just localized.
No,
Okay.
no.
I didn't see that.
The nationwide, the percentage is like 40% of people charged with murder are convicted.
That's excellent.
And
Yep.
the CSIs.
So
Yeah,
our
well,
feature for this podcast is it's our Xmas special. And we're going to talk about what we want for Christmas, and it will probably not be
Special.
Xmas related at all. Hold on, Steve, can't you let me know what Christmas is all about?
ham.
Ham. Survey says.
Bing.
Number 3.
So, Brian,
Hookers.
real
Two
hookers
things
or
that don't
sex
generally go together.
or sex droid
I
hooker?
don't know.
No, okay, so
I'm saying generally.
so Steve wants
40%
hookers for
chance.
Big plate of ham and hookers. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, really.
Well, what about bacon and hookers?
That too?
I love bacon
Yeah.
and cocaine.
Well, bacon is probably easier to get for
Or the other
Christmas than
white
hookers.
stuff.
I don't know.
Hookers won't fit in your stocking. Well, they
Well, hookers come in their
Depends
own
on how
stockings.
big your stocking is.
oh,
They also come in their own stockings.
But only if you request it.
Depends on what street you're going down, really.
does that require a remedy ticket as well?
Odds
Yes,
are
it does.
Odds are, with as cold as it's been out here, every hooker's going to be in stockings.
Well, I'm not planning on picking them up off the streets if it's all the same to you.
So, Steve,
Same.
So do you have a phone number you call?
I got Craigslist.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hell yeah.
so Steve, other than hookers and possibly a
and a ham.
sex and a ham and possibly a sex droid, what else do you want for Christmas?
That pretty much covers it.
A sex droid. Now, what operating system do you want this sex droid running on?
Well,
I want a hooker sex droid that gives me ham.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
is there like a
G4
ham
thing.
slot? Or maybe a
There's,
ham radio?
Did you see that thing?
You can
on,
order
Slashdot?
ham through
No,
the
but there
radio?
are meat curtains.
Okay.
So,
There was that thing on Slashdot where the couple made the little maid droid that is supposed to use some sort of learning principles in order to figure out how to get them an ale from the fridge.
uh-huh.
I don't know if it works or not.
Apparently, the rest of the world doesn't either.
Well, I didn't read enough of the article. I didn't care.
You just need
It didn't look like a hot, sexy girl, so I suddenly was uninterested.
yeah, you need to give that
But it looks like an
technology to
erector
Japan.
set. It's not very sexy.
Well,
Hey,
unless
maybe you're into that, Murdock, but the rest of us,
someone
not so much
if
with,
someone has a gear fetish, there you go.
that's a different kind of gear fetish.
Maybe it's not a
that's
gog,
for
and maybe
you,
it's not
Damien.
a gear. It maybe like a cog or a sprocket.
Yes. It is an erector set.
Well, true. Or a very elaborate Jetsons reference.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what do you want for Christmas?
60 sprockets. Yeah. What I want's already in the mail. It's coming soon.
To a theater near you.
It's actually coming 2 days after Christmas because Sony is really weird about their shipping. So
Your PlayStation 3.
indeed.
And
I curbed and gave
when-
into the PlayStation Visa and did the deal.
so
Can't go wrong for $250.
so was there a flow chart that helped you decide what PlayStation 3 model you should buy?
No, they only had 2 that you could buy.
Oh,
The 160 or the 80 gig. So
which one are you getting?
I'm just getting the 80 gig. I don't imagine I'm going to need more than that, really.
And have you set up a spare room for the PlayStation 3? Because I hear they're very big.
Yeah. It's going to take up the left hand half.
Did you clean out that Neo Geo room you got there, and you just put it in there and run the cables out?
I'm going to stand it right up next to my arcade.
Yeah. Put a bunch of cooling fans next to it.
That's the
I'm going
same
to pop
size.
it open, use it for a George Foreman grill when I'm not playing games.
Yep.
Probably generates the same amount of heat.
Yeah. Well, it does that computer program on the side when you're not using it. You can
So-
just set it up
so
to
you-
be part of the college collective or campus collective.
Oh,
or
what is
whatever
it?
that is.
Just folding at
The
home.
folding.
Folding.
Yeah.
So,
It makes sure all your clothes are neatly folded and put away when you're not using it.
Yeah.
no, it's space folding.
Yes. It sends all your stuff to Pluto.
It sends all your stuff to the Zentradi.
Yes.
Takes me to Arrakis.
But
occasionally.
default.
Yes. When you're at Arrakis, you can say hi to Krukov for us.
Yeah.
So,
Come to spice
so what
things up.
So what you're going?
Arrakis. Oh.
So what you're going to do is when you get your PlayStation 3, right before you go to work, you're going to turn it on, and by the time you get back, about half the patches will be downloaded.
So it's really a 2-day process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what it was for me when I was playing Lineage. That was a 4-hour patching escapade.
I've seen that happen once in all the time I've ever patched, and it literally took. I don't remember what the PC game was I was playing, but it took about an hour for the fucker to patch.
Lord of the
blew
Rings
my
Online
mind.
did the same thing. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes to patch Lord of the Rings Online.
On
Wow.
a cable connection?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that.
So
Certainly is.
so
It was
Brian,
so wrong, I never got around to playing it again.
so Brian, any games you're gonna get with it?
I did pick up Little Big Planet. I'm probably gonna get Metal Gear Solid 4, and other than that, I'm not really interested in that many of the console games. I'm actually more interested in the downloadable games. Some of those games are really pretty.
I'm interested in getting a PlayStation 3, if for nothing else, for Valkyria Chronicles. But
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. That's
I
another one I'm
I
curious.
can't justify the price of the system just for one game.
I can for $250. That's actually putting it at the Wii price point, which is why I got it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it.
$250? How'd you manage that?
Well, if you get online at Sony's website right now, Sony Rewards, or I think it's SonyStyle.com, you could apply for a credit card, a Sony Visa. You get accepted for the Sony Visa, and then you buy PS3. I don't know if it's by the end of this month or if they extended it another month or two, but you buy it within that time, they'll rebate you $150 back to your card.
Huh.
That's why you do it, because you buy it through them.
Does it
they
limit one
rebate
per
direct-
customer?
As far as I know, yeah.
That sucks.
But, how many people are going to
How many do you need?
Well, no, I was gonna say I could
How much
just
spare room you got?
I could just give the money to Brian and he could buy it for me, and then I
Yeah.
don't have to get a Sony card.
I don't know. I've actually been trying to get Sony on the phone. I've only achieved it once, and I asked him one question, and I wasn't thinking far enough ahead to ask him 3 more questions, which I now have. But I've called them 4 more times and probably racked up a total of an hour in waiting, trying to get a hold of somebody. And
Yeah, I
their
heard
customer
Sony's customer
is
service kinda
really
sucks.
piss poor.
Oh, gee, you think?
Yeah.
Even online, trying to get a hold of them is a real bitch. They don't make it easy. It's really sad. It's starting to piss me off.
That's when you go to the
probably why
consumerist.com.
That's probably why the Sony sales of PS3 has plummeted in the last quarter.
I got a feeling that's a big part of it.
Well, that and there's no possibility of a PSP2 at this point.
Well, that and, maybe because the price point for the PS3 is larger than 2 other systems and everybody's trying to spend less money.
Well, there is a PSP2 coming. I'm pretty sure that we'll see one probably in
Well,
about 2 years.
I'll believe it when I see it because the PSP, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of like the Neo Geo CD of the new portables. I just consider it a big failure, and I was expecting so much more from it.
I
and
think
it
it's
just
a great
doesn't-
emulator.
I mean, it is a great system, but I didn't see the games for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the PSP was out the same time as the Nintendo DS, or it came out later.
I think it was after the DS.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Huh.
No, you're wrong. It came out a year before the
Yeah.
DS.
Did
Yeah.
it?
The DS
came
came
out before
out
the
in,
DS.
I think it was October.
Yeah, and
And it was out the year before, yeah.
I remember because they were like, hey, here's PSP stuff. And then you're kind of like, hey, wasn't there a PSP that got released?
Yeah.
And then the DS came out, and they're like, oh, hey, maybe we should make some games for this.
And
Yeah.
then a year later, the DS Lite came out on top of that. So, and that's how slow the PSP's been, yeah.
Yeah, because out of all, the length of time for the PSP, and I only have maybe 12 games, and the Nintendo DS I've got 40.
And Sony's going to be bringing out another version, another updated version of the PSP.
Well,
on top of the
they just came out
3000.
with another. They came out with
Well,
a
this
version
one's the 3000, the third one in the series. They're actually got a 4th one coming out. They're saying before they're going to end the cycle,
What-
supposedly. And
what
goes
does
out
this
to
one have that the
PSP2.
other ones don't?
I don't know. They haven't released anything that I've seen so far, but there was something in an article I read the other day that said they have a patent secured for a 4th PSP.
Huh.
And there is some talk of
OLEDs.
it coming out next year for some reason. I don't know what it's going to benefit from, but the third one here I could see the 3000 because the screen was significantly better. But on the reverse side, it's kind of like what HD TV is to old analog. This screen is so good looking that some of the older PSP games look like shit on it, or the characters bounce around a little bit.
I
They-
heard
they
there was
get fuzzy.
some. Was it ghosting?
Yeah, the pixels don't stay still because the new screen can't process them correctly. It's actually too good for its own good. Kind of sad, but
Wonder how that works.
Yeah. So
great if you were going to watch
So-
movies on it.
so
I'm sure
okay, so Steve, so
they
so
must have been doing some sort of programming trickery to make it look better on the lower screens, and that trickery is apparent
be.
on a higher resolution screen.
So Steve wants a hooker, a sex droid hooker, and ham.
ham. Yep.
And Brian's gonna get his PlayStation 3. Anything else you want for Christmas?
I'd like a hooker to deliver it.
Well,
You could do that.
I'm sure there's an E3.
I'm sure if you deliver it to an escort on Craigslist, she surely will bring it to you.
Oh yeah. What is this Little Big Planet stuff? I don't understand this.
I don't understand.
Well, Little Big Planet, that's a nickname for my.
Actually, wouldn't it be Little Big Planets?
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, you can create your own level. Why don't you play around with it for a little bit? Please ignore
Murdock,
what I
do you
just
want
said.
for Christmas, Murdock?
Goth girls.
Besides peace on Earth.
Goth. I don't want peace on Earth. Fuck Earth. I want goth girls.
The goth girls are all on Earth.
But it's where I keep all my stuff.
Oh, stop that. I want my
Egads.
I want my very own goth girl.
Where I keep all my stuff.
I'm sure I could probably find that on Craigslist too.
What, a goth girl?
Yeah,
Or a place
Yeah.
to keep all your stuff.
probably both.
Yeah.
Or a place to keep all your
You
goth
should
girl
put a
stuff.
thing on the wanted ads for Craigslist that says "Wanted, place to keep all my stuff," and just see what happens.
That'd be great.
Well, you know what's going to
How many
happen?
replies you get to that? I'd have to create an email address just for that one.
Yeah. Awesome.
A place to keep all my stuff. That's. I could see that turning into a train wreck real
We'll
quick.
do
Awesome.
stuffman@hotmail.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
That'd be a George Carlin reference, of course.
yeah. You know, I really, I'm not real. I mean, really, I'm not that big into Christmas. I've never. I mean, I really
I'm
don't
not
care
either.
for the holiday
Hey,
anymore.
that's when you get all your stuff.
Well,
Christmas is the time I generally buy stuff for myself.
same
Because
here.
it goes on sale so drastically.
Well, it's
you've
also
waited
because
all
they
year
release
to get
all
it.
the stuff at this time of year.
Well, this year actually wasn't bad. Video game wise, a lot of stuff was released pretty consistently over the year, so we were able to afford it. We were able to play it because we had just finished other games, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
There was no large quantity of stuff released at any one time that just flooded us and overwhelmed us. We were overwhelmed the year over because there was a lot of good games, which was really cool, but we never had too many at one time, so that was kind of cool. That's
Yeah.
probably been one of the nicer
But-
things this year.
But really, I really don't want anything for Christmas. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, to me, it's just another day, which is
Yeah, it is. It's
which is
just a
kind of
day
sad.
off
But
for
I got
me.
kind of burnt out of Christmas after working retail for 5 years. I kind of made my,
Well, it's a capitalist holiday for most purposes and most senses. It's an economy driver, and
well, Steve, and apparently it's about ham
Yes.
from the
hookers on ham.
Hookers on Ham.
She's gonna ruin the ham.
Maybe, but
Hookers
do you
under
care?
ham. It's like the
So like
the
sushi in the
girls.
raw.
It's like the sushi girls. With the ham on top.
Yeah. Can I get pork in the raw?
Pork in the raw.
Well, I think it's called sushi in the raw when you get sushi on top of a naked model.
Yeah,
That's
what he's
Kim
talking
Cattrall.
not anymore.
No, she's the
that's
girl
true.
with the green eyes.
It's not the girl. God, that movie sucks.
Shut up.
What?
You have no taste.
I have a lot of taste.
No.
I'm talking to someone who watched Stolen Dolomite, and you're telling me I don't have
loved
taste.
that movie.
Well,
it was awesome.
You just invalidated
David
your
Crockett.
argument,
Davy
Steve.
Crockett
You
doing
just
wushu. You can't go wrong with that.
Murdock, you have no taste. Now let me watch Stolen Dolomite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
yeah.
Your point is moot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that movie wasn't made very long ago.
Well,
It's made in like 2003 or something.
Dynamite.
so, yeah, I kind of want a goth girl. So, if you know of any, bring it by.
Craigslist.
Craigslist. Yeah. We should just start putting shit on Craigslist. You can ask for your sex droids
Mm-hmm.
and your ham. I'm sure you'll
Yeah.
probably get the ham first.
Places to keep your stuff.
Yeah.
Place to keep your stuff.
Place to keep your stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I also have on here, as far as our Xmas wishes,
What?
is a thing that says what we got for Christmas, but I don't want to go into it too much.
How would
So-
that happen? It's not even Christmas
Well,
yet.
Christmas is before this Christmas.
Oh,
You've had Christmases before
shit!
this,
I don't
right?
remember what I got for Christmas.
Okay, what was the greatest gift you got for Christmas?
I don't know.
Big wheel.
Toss across.
I think seriously, I don't remember what I get for most Christmases. I just don't.
Brian, you have anything? He's thinking.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Kind of in the same camp. I can't think of anything that really ever stood out.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I've
think.
gotten better stuff during the year than I did during Christmas.
Yeah, I
Just,
don't can't remember anything.
Yeah,
Did I
see,
get-
nothing really sticks out. You generally get clothes and CDs and DVDs and that kind of shit, and it's just like, yeah, whatever.
I think
It's like a second birthday for
I
anything.
think there was one Christmas that I got like maybe a copy of Super Boggle, but I think that was I don't.
Which Christmas did you get Trio the Punch? Which Christmas was that?
I, well,
the wrong one.
I didn't didn't know that. Yeah, that was the Christmas I spent on downloading various programs off the internet.
Lolita.
No.
For the lulls.
No,
For the
I didn't get Trio the Punch for the lulls. Yeah, I was playing Ninja Clown during Christmas for the lulls.
Oh, mama.
So I guess that's enough of that.
Mama.
So we've had very bad Christmases, and now
I
we're
did get
broken
last year,
men.
which was pretty cool, and it was for the household in general. But I liked it, and I thought it was more for myself. Was one hell of a snowblower.
Yeah,
That
and
thing
you got it
could-
at the right time because it wasn't
Oh,
that the
man.
blizzard. Didn't we have like a
No,
huge
we
snowstorm?
got it. We got it. I think it was after it.
Oh.
Trying to remember. We kind of missed out, but it was still cool though. I mean, I've got it sitting in my kitchen now. I'm just waiting for a good storm to come by.
I'm
just-
waiting.
We did get one good storm after it, which was nice, and man, did that thing come in handy because I've got a good 50-foot driveway, and then I'm at the end of a hill in a dead end, so I had to go partially up the hill. So
You
I did
probably
that.
were-
I even went over to neighbors and dug her car out for
So
her
it
with
probably
it.
took what, like 30 minutes?
No, I was out there a good hour or two, but that thing just plows through the snow. It's freaking awesome.
So while we're in front of the fireplace, is there any other fireplace-related chats that we need before we go into the reviews?
My fellow Americans, boys,
Spores.
Spores. The enemy we face
Is EA.
I was talking to
what are they buying this week?
one of my coworkers about the difference or the differences between Guitar Hero World Tour and Rock Band. His wife wants to get to Guitar Hero and he wants to get Rock Band.
Well, he's right.
That's what I told him. And
Tell him that like 9 out of 10 musicians agree that World Tour sucks.
well,
Rock
I mean,
Band
if
feels
it's
like
if it's
real
building on Guitar Hero 3, it can't be very good. I mean,
yeah,
Guitar-
which
I
came
mean-
out first?
Yeah, well, I mean, but
I wish the two would get together because Guitar Hero
No,
makes
they
great
won't.
instruments, whereas Rock
well, Rock,
Band
yeah,
makes a
Rock,
great
Red
design.
Octane makes good instruments.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, and that's it. Does anybody know if you can you use Guitar Hero World Tour instruments with Rock Band?
There was, I can't remember, it was on Kotaku about, I want to say 2 weeks ago, there was a graph that showed which
What you
games,
can use with
yeah,
what?
what you can
Yeah.
use controller-wise and game-wise with
I'll have
each
to look
other.
that up.
And it was really cool because it did show everything. And I think the two, Rock Band 2 and World Tour, were interchangeable as far as instruments went.
That's good. At least maybe if the stuff ends up biting for Rock Band 2.
Well, who the hell wants to buy two sets of instruments, too, though?
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out
Well,
loud.
I mean, between the both of you, you kind of already have.
Well, I have
Well, we
one
got
that's
one
kind of
set
dying
each.
now again, which is kind of the Explorer I bought from Guitar Hero 3 is dying now.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Probably beat the hell out of it. Probably. Probably
Could
something to
be.
do with it.
I've been wanting to get some of those
Everything
new
I hook
wireless
up to
Rock
the-
Band guitars anyways.
Everything I buy for Rock Band, it dies within like a year. I don't get it. Stuff that's not even related to Rock Band. That USB hub I bought for it because the one that comes with Rock Band, it's a piece of shit. We should take that, by the way.
There's
That's the
something
other one.
funky about it.
Take that with you.
Oh yeah.
That's one from my set from Rock Band 1.
Oh, gotcha.
So
that'll last us a month.
yeah. Something like that.
Excellent. So anyway, we'll go to the reviews, although I don't really have much of a review because I haven't really played anything recently. I looked at my game list. It's like, well, I haven't done a review of Dead or Alive 4, but basically it's going to boil down to, while the game's really fucking hard, it's so frustrating I can't do shit in the
Did
game.
you play DOA 3?
Well, DOA 3 is actually a easier game than Dead or Alive 4. It's like punishingly difficult to the point of you don't want to play it anymore because it's so difficult. Even on the easiest setting, it's like really, really obnoxiously hard. And it's you ever play a fighting game and you swear that the computer is reading your controller and knows exactly how to counter everything?
Yeah.
That's DOA 4. Because I mean,
It's like it gets
Well,
spastic like a little kid.
well, here's the thing.
Button mash.
Well, that
Button
may actually
mash.
be a better strategy, but with me, I mean, I like difficult games, but I don't like them that they're so hard that you can't beat them,
Yeah.
and that the computer does everything in its power to try to make it so that you don't win, and when it gets that frustrating to play, you end up with absolutely no interest in the game anymore.
There's no more fun involved. It's just it takes away everything you wanted.
And I understand that Tecmo and Team
Reason
Ninja
you're
like
playing it.
making hard games, but dudes, you got to learn how to balance it out.
Well,
Tecmo
easy
has
should
an
be
issue
easier.
with that.
Huh?
Easy should be easy.
Tecmo's never been about balance.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden. Hello.
Yeah.
The
Case
Tecmo
in
Bowl was
point.
pretty balanced.
Yeah, but I mean, even from the early NES games, I mean, we're talking like Rygar and Solomon's Key.
Yeah,
Those were some fucking
games.
hard games.
Rygar was a really hard game.
I mean, I beat Rygar,
I realize that this game is older than maybe some of our viewers, but it was a hard game.
Old school, baby.
but yeah.
There was somebody on that FARC thread talking about old anime. He said he was an old school listener or reader, watcher,
Uh-huh.
and the guy who was relating the story said, "So, what was the first anime you watched?" He's like, "Hellsing."
Oh yeah, you're real fucking
Yeah,
old.
Old school there, buddy.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
back like 2 years.
Yeah. Hey, if it was digitally produced, not old school.
Yeah.
Cell paint, old school.
Yeah. I still don't like the original Vampire Hunter D though. It's a very sterile anime. Anyway.
But
Don't want to get distracted here.
well, dude,
This is my new one. It's not Star Trek anymore. It's Vampire Hunter D.
it's anime.
Yeah.
So anime. It's like manga, only really moves fast.
I was talking to Bakudan. He said he saw the new release of Nazca down at Colorado Mills. Apparently, it was the new Disney release with the redubbed.
Oh yeah, that came out
real
on
voice
DVD. It's like
actors.
Patrick Stewart plays one of the voices. Nazca, you must stay at the forest. That's the best Patrick Stewart I can do, unfortunately.
It sounds like a Sean Connery doing
All right,
Patrick
Number
Stewart.
2, stay in the forest.
Yeah.
Number
You
2,
must
I
stay
order
in
you
the
to.
forest, otherwise the Romulans will get you.
That would have been an interesting dub.
Yeah.
But my whole point with Dead or Alive 4 is basically it would have been a really awesome game if they took the time to actually balance it, and
That's
The-
half of any
well,
good
well,
fighting game.
the
really.
producer Itagaki's like, I make hard games, but it's for the hardcore players that appreciate this type of difficulty, and it's like that's fine and all, but there's some of us who don't want to spend the time and the hours upon hours memorizing frame data for this game, and it's like I don't have the time. I just want to play it and have a little fun with it. But if 70 to 80% of the people that put it on easy are getting their asses kicked, there's a problem.
Well, nobody's
Worse
going to
than
buy the
a,
game.
Well,
Worse than a Neo Geo fighter set on level 8.
well, it's still Neo Geo Fighter set on level 4. No, wait.
No, that's average. 4 is average. I
isn't,
play on 4 and above.
isn't
online,
the
so-
MVS? My understanding was that the MVS setting for most Neo Geo games is like somewhere between medium and hard.
Yeah, most of them are set at 4, which is pretty much competitive. It's standard. You got to learn enough moves to get by, and combos help. And once in a while you get lucky, but you really should learn something about the game to beat it.
Yeah. And
Anything under a 4, yeah, anybody can win.
well, it
there.
depends on the game. Like if you're playing Art of Fighting, you might want to put that on level 1.
Art of Fighting's a little more Tecmo-like.
Yeah.
But
'Cause-
again, you just learn enough of it, you can actually do really well in the game. It's very precise. It's just like the original Street Fighter was. It was ridiculously hard to get moves off of.
Well, it
until
also
they
didn't help.
perfected it.
It also didn't help that the uppercut was like impossible to do.
Yeah,
It was like the motion for it was just so.
They hadn't perfected the moves on the very very first Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2 really was the peak, the pinnacle. It was where they figured out how to do move patterns, how to make things flow, and they were just starting to learn how to do combos.
Yeah, and then Fatal Fury came out, and then they had all these weird controller motions that no one could do.
Yeah, that not only that, but you had the foreground and the background. Suddenly there was 2 areas you could jump back and forth with, and that really just blew my mind when I played it.
That's why I like the Real Bout series a little bit more. I mean, it still has the foreground and background, but everything
it was kind of a better version of the
it was a lot
Fury
smoother.
series. Yeah, I really think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was kind
but
of
then
a
you get
home
Mark of
version.
the Wolves.
Yeah, that's definitely the pinnacle for Neo Geo, in my opinion. That's
Yeah,
one of the best games.
It's the best Fatal Fury out there.
It's one of the best Neo Geo fighting games, I think, too. I really think that was a smooth game.
Art of Fighting 3 is a smooth game, too.
It wasn't just smooth, it was pretty, it was well done, the movements were pretty well done. I mean, everything in the game was well done. It was amazing how many levels.
Yeah, welcome to the Fighting Game Podcast.
Apparently.
By the way, Brian, you had told me something about Street Fighter 4 because there was like an import set that was coming out with a controller.
It didn't say in the article whether it was the Japanese or the American. I got to assume it's the American because they said this was the February 12th or February 17th release, which is the American release. But there is one coming out with a fighting stick and I think an art book and some other stuff in it. There's like a whole.
Because I saw.
There was the ones I saw in Kotaku. Kotaku wasn't the fighting stick. It was the art set. There was one that comes with an actual figure.
Yeah,
the PS3
I saw that.
comes with the Ryu figure, and then the Xbox comes with the new character figure. What's her name? Not Vice.
No, it's
she looks like Vice from Neo Geo.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Sea Viper.
Yeah, Viper. Yeah, she comes with that one, and I think there's an art book and a DVD with that too.
Yeah,
the
it's
PS3 one's kind of cool because it comes with a Blu-ray, but the Xbox one just comes with a. Pretty much just like a PC downloadable AVI
it's
movie
a 65-minute animated movie, an anime movie for
but it's not
Street
on
Fighter.
a DVD format from what I was reading, which is kind of sad.
So
Like,
they had a preview of it over on the Capcom
Somebody
Unity
will
blogs.
extract it.
Oh yeah, the next day or before the game comes out, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the internet we're talking about.
No, you could play the movie and watch it, but I think it was like an AVI format or an MPEG. It wasn't actually a full DVD, which is kind of weird.
Well, they probably were just trying to save money on it.
Yeah, that's
they're just pissed because they lost out with HD DVD.
Well,
whatever. But
either way, I'm gonna buy the 360 more than likely.
I am still like ultra wary about buying Street Fighter 4. I mean, the 3D thing, I'm kind of a little bit getting over.
Oh, it looks
it would have
so
been
good.
better
I'm
as
sold
sprites. Just saying.
I'm sold on it. I want to play it so bad. After watching it in motion, I really like the way it's like watching an anime.
It looks good in motion, but if I have to be stuck playing it with an Xbox controller, it's gonna suck.
Buy a stick.
I can't use a stick.
ASCII
ASCII pad FT.
Oh yeah, that's right.
ASCII
You're a pad
pad
man.
FT for the Xbox 360. I'm just saying. Otherwise, it's a piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to try and open up the Xbox 360 controller with a butter knife.
Well, you ought to just wait because right about the time that's coming out, I think those import controllers are coming out too.
Do those things have new D-pads?
They have better D-pads from what I was reading than ours, so I don't know how much better.
Well,
but
like I said, with my luck, the controllers are going to be region locked. It's going to be like you try and pop it in. It's like this.
Controllers are controllers.
Well, I know that, but I mean, I'm just saying with
that's
my
the
luck.
one universal thing with any game system, pretty much, is at least the controllers.
Yeah. So, Steve, do you have anything? I know you don't play fighting games.
I really don't.
I mean, the last fighting game you played was
Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That was the last one I was really good at. And that was probably the pinnacle of the Mortal Kombat series.
That's a Vodka Don guy. He went and downloaded Mortal Kombat Trilogy. on the Xbox 360, and he says, "Man, I've been playing that for about 2 weeks straight."
Mortal Kombat 2 was a really good game.
It was the best in the series, I think.
I never.
Trilogy was okay, but 2 was the best.
Mortal
I think.
Kombat is an awful fighting game series, and I don't care
It was
what
pretty
anyone
awful
thinks.
for the most part, but 2 was where they
Well,
reached their.
it's
that was
only
as high as they
awful in
were
the
gonna
sense
get.
that when Mortal Kombat 2 came out before Virtual Fighter 1.
Well, the reason I say it's awful, and people can disagree with me or call me a weeaboo, but whatever. But basically, if you the way you can tell a good fighting game is if you remove all the special moves, whatever the characters have left, that's your base for how good a fighting game is. In Street Fighter, every character has different strengths, different different reaches,
Yeah, but
different
everybody
speeds.
in Mortal Kombat had the same basic
Exactly.
moves, though. There was
Everyone
no
had the same
difference from
uppercut.
each
Everyone
one.
had the same
Yeah.
sweep.
That's why
So-
the combos of the unique moves were
Yeah.
what
Exactly.
The game was designed
It's like there was
around.
no differentiation between the characters
I don't
other
think
than
it makes
special
that
moves.
a horrible
that
game.
was the differentiation, was the different characters,
Well,
the different moves.
yeah, but
You're
you should
learning
have
how to
something
combo
more
those
than just
moves.
special moves to differentiate the characters.
Why?
I'm just saying. I'm
Why?
just saying.
I mean, why? I mean, it's
because it
obviously
gives it more strategy and depth.
well, no, it just makes it different than the ones that you like.
Well, yeah,
I
but
mean,
I
it's-
agree because I don't like the virtual fighters. I never got into those. They're
I
pretty
love
to
the
watch,
virtual
but
fighters.
well, the virtual
I just didn't like the
virtual fi-
controls for them. I could never get
virtual
into it.
The later ones suffered from a horrible balance problem with button mashing. I mean, you really could do really well in the later virtual fighters with button. At least the arcade ones. I don't know about the home ones, but the arcade
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, the
I
home
just
one.
didn't like the controls in general of back and then down and up and up.
They
and
actu-
forward. It was just weird, wacky controllers that had no.
They
unique-
actually cleaned up a lot of the controls in the newer ones, but Virtual Fighter has never been a game series where you could, if you're playing at a high enough tier, you can't button mash your way and win. You just can't.
In Virtual Fighter 3 in the arcade, you totally could.
Not in tournament play.
Well, yeah, but how many people actually play in tournament?
Well, I mean,
That's kind of the thing. Now, Virtual Fighter 1, the great thing was you could actually win consistently with counters every time.
Yeah,
There was actually some good strategy where if you played a counter character, you could kick a lot of ass. But
yeah, Virtual Fighter 5, not a button mashing game. You got to know your shit when you play that game.
I wanted to know my shit. I just got tired of trying to learn wacky
It's
controls.
not-
It just didn't
yeah.
make
A lot
sense
of
to me.
a lot of it makes
it's a return
logical.
on investment.
It makes
Yeah.
logical sense when you think about it, about some of the moves and everything. But you just gotta put some time into it.
It was
He's
yeah.
right.
I didn't want to put that much time into
But
it. It wasn't something I could
Tekken's
pick
kinda
up
the
and just
same way,
learn as I
too.
went.
I never liked Tekken, ever.
Tekken was I liked Tekken.
I
but
like Tekken
2
because it
was
was-
the pinnacle
was,
for me,
you know,
too.
a lot more visceral.
My problem with Tekken was whenever I played it, it felt like a very static fighter.
Well,
It really didn't feel nothing. None of the character moves or anything. The way you controlled and fought, it all felt very stiff to me. And
it didn't flow.
Yeah, and I just as a result, I played some of 1 and some of 2, and then I've never touched the series again.
It got better, but I think a lot of it Tekken is more like just flashy, over the top type moves as opposed to Virtual Fighter, which tends to be very technical.
I don't know, just wasn't for me.
I mean, you are correct. I mean, each game has its pluses and minuses, but they're both solid fighting games. It just depends on what you want.
I liked which DOA was for the Dreamcast.
2.
DOA 2.
I liked that one.
That's a very good game, and it's very balanced. I can beat it on normal. So
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
I didn't die immediately playing the game. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me want to put it in now.
Plus, costumey cosplayers. I'm just saying, if I
fighting-
can't get my goth girl,
Fighting games have no lack of hot chicks that people can cosplay. So,
which is good for you,
well, yeah,
and no lack of Bridget cosplayers,
yeah,
no lack of traps.
yeah,
And what is your feeling on traps?
not so great.
Mm.
But everybody's gay for Bridget, so it doesn't matter.
You heard it on the internet, so it must be true.
4chan said it. It must be true.
Like,
I don't just trust anything that's on the internet, Murdock. But if it's on 4chan, It must be true.
Yeah, I deleted my System32 file.
And man, your system's fast now.
It
isn't
is. It's so fast.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
recommend it to everyone.
Yep.
Diehard Gamer
Go.
Radio does not recommend doing this.
Should do it, Brian.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'll be rebuilding here pretty quick, anyways. But
Yeah, I was gonna rebuild my PC, and I'm like, there's no reason for me to rebuild it because I'm not, playing PC games.
I had a really weird.
that's
Speaking
why
of
you rebuild
rebuilding,
it, basically.
on my Vista machine, when I did the rebuild recently, I found I had a problem where the 2 CD drives would only work for one reboot, and then I could access them through DOS, but I couldn't access them through Windows. Turned out I had to change the drive letters. If I changed the drive letters to like K and L, they worked. So something in removable drives was trying to use it at the same time, but I could run just fine. I just couldn't explore them.
I just installed a second external, and I don't have a C drive originally, so that second external named itself the C drive now.
Oh, you can
causing everything to slow down. I'm like, why does it go assume that it's got to be the lowest letter drive? It doesn't add to.
Go right click on my computer. Go to disk management, then highlight that one, and you can change the drive letter.
Yeah, I'm going to have to because it's actually going to access that external drive first as a priority.
Yeah, it's going to try to
and
boot
then
off
doing
that.
everything else. And it's like,
Can't you just change that in the BIOS?
No, you change it. It's the Windows assignment.
Oh.
And you just change it in Disk Manager, and it'll let you assign it A through Z or whatever.
So that'll be your.
I don't think you get to pick A, but
that's just the
well,
name.
A
It
is
doesn't
your
wipe
3.
anything that's on
A
there,
is your
right?
3.
Z.
3.
Yeah, it just
5.
renames it.
Cool. I'll do that. Yeah, because I keep
But
watching it.
Isn't A reserved for your 3.5?
I
For
don't know
for
if
computers that
Vista
still
does
have
that
it?
or
That's
not.
assuming you still have one of those
Yeah.
on there.
I
I
don't know.
forgot to turn that off on my last option, so I don't even have one in there, but it shows up as a drive on there, and I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
like
it
in
shows it's on the board,
3.5.
so
yeah, but
there's
you
an
can turn
interface
it
on the
off though,
board.
completely.
well, yeah, you can disable it or whatever.
I didn't think about it the last.
But if it shows up
install.
if it shows up as it being advertised on the board as there being a controller there, the 3.5 drive will still show up, I think.
Yeah. But
once in a while, on accident, I'll go click on it. And I'm like, all right, I gotta wait the 4 seconds for it to
It
realize
just
it's not
seeks
there.
for a drive that isn't there.
Like, yeah, cancel, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, like I was saying, I was thinking about doing an upgrade for my computer would have cost me about $1,000 because I would need a new video.
Why?
Well, because I haven't upgraded my computer in like 10 years.
So what do you got to
Dude,
buy?
you did it like 2 years ago.
No, it's been a lot longer than that. It's been about 10. It's been about 7 to 10
years. You need a new
years.
board, you need a CPU, you need a new RAM, and you don't need to spend $350 on a video card.
Well,
No, I'm only gonna spend about $250 max.
I'd say
$250 is
The sweet
good
spot
price
seems to
point.
be like $170 to $200.
Maybe, but none of them are at that right now.
yeah,
None
but
of the
I was
4870s I want.
like I said, I was thinking of upgrading, and then I'm like, I don't play fucking Crisis and all these memory intensive PC games. I mean, I'm not a PC game
spent all
player,
last year
and any
buying
PC game I
parts
play
just
is going to
little
be
by little for that reason.
MAME or freeware that doesn't require any type of system requirements at all. So it's like
4 gigs of RAM. Is
yeah,
the
4 gigs of
minimum.
RAM for a flash
Well,
game.
nothing can even read 4 gig right now.
Well, 64-bit, what you call it. And a lot of the
yeah, but
motherboards will
no
have.
video games can read up to that. It
Yeah, they
doesn't
can.
really benefit you to use it right now.
Sure they
Nothing
can.
really gets that much out of it.
Well, I mean,
more
it
the
might
memory is
benefit.
actually shifting over to the video card onboard RAM. Than
Well,
it
hey,
is on
if you're running
CPU
Norton
RAM,
antivirus,
so.
you're going to need that memory.
Yeah.
Hey, it'll use it all up.
And I'm not jumping to Vista yet. XP is just fine with me. I've still seen too many problems with Vista. It's not worth the trouble.
Yeah, but a lot of the problems with Vista are for people that don't have a clue. I mean, there's a lot of people
Game-wise
that are.
and program-wise, it's just not the
Isn't
most
Vista like
conducive
DirectX
system.
10 only? It's some
No.
some weird DirectX.
No,
No.
they pushed DirectX 10 when it came out, and they were trying to push that on games, but there were no games that were designed around it other than
Well,
pretty much Far Cry, which was
There's
I
not
think
a lot
the-
of.
Well, yeah,
benefit
but you need
to
a fucking
DirectX
Cray to
10
run,
is the thing.
Far Cry, or at least run it at higher than 30 frames a second.
Crisis. Far Cry you can play on a pretty old machine.
yeah the original Crisis.
I'm sure Myst looks pretty good on your computer, huh?
Yeah.
Fog is damn near real.
No.
Yeah, they could probably import Myst on Flash.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah. They could keep selling it for $20. think that game's been selling for $20 for about 15 years now.
Oh, did you see that the stupidest game news? Was it Mist Uru became open source? I'm like, dude, why?
And who cares?
Better late than never. I don't know.
Well, oh great. Now I can design my own worlds where I can wander aimlessly. You know, that's why you have second.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
Anything else?
Unless there's anything else, just wish all our listeners a happy holiday of their choosing. And
You get to pick one of three things: a real hooker, a sex droid hooker, or ham.
bacon.
That's not a choice.
Bacon is always. How about
you could make bacon with the hooker?
Better wear an apron. Could hurt.
Unless the hooker's just so hot, you can just put the bacon right on her and just
Burn the fat.
Huh?
Well, you call it whatever you want, Brian.
What?
So I guess this is the bacon podcast. All right.
This ends the Fireside Podcast.
Well, this also ends the podcast for the year. Our next podcast will be next year sometime.
Wow. I'll see you
sometime.
next year.
Yeah.
Sometime.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio.
Thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.